Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe, Mr. Davison Choini, for the official opening remarks and welcome. Let's give him a big hand as he comes.
Thank you, our Director of Ceremony, Mr. TG. A pleasant morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me just to acknowledge and appreciate the presence of my principals and the President of the IIZ, Mr. Tatena Katoma, and the entire board members of the Institute here in attendance. Thank you and welcome. Our guest speaker, Dr. Persistence Wanyana, and all our esteemed speakers, thank you for honoring us with your presence and making this our premier event what it is, and looking forward to your insightful presentations. Our sponsors, we are highly indebted and extremely humbled by your generosity that made this event a success thus far. Feel highly appreciated and wish to see this partnership blossom as we move into the future. We will probably be honoring you soon. I'm extremely thrilled to see many dedicated insurance professionals gather here in Victoria Falls, ready to share knowledge, network, and learn from each other. Be assured that this conference is a fantastic opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to hear from experts drawn from diverse backgrounds. It's an opportunity to discover latest trends and innovations that speak to our industry. An opportunity to connect with colleagues within and outside our beautiful country, Zimbabwe. An opportunity to enhance and deepen our insurance skills and knowledge for the betterment of our industry. Welcome, therefore, to the IIZ's 2024 annual conference, themed Innovation and Impetus for Growth and Sustainability. Let's make this event a memorable and impactful occasion as we customize whatever we learn today and tomorrow to transform our different organizations. Wishing you all the best and thank you so much. Welcome.
Thanks very much, Davison. We indeed do feel welcome. It's amazing how when you come up with some of these guidelines and what have you, that people do actually listen and stick to them. We've given an allocation that is much longer, but you know, he sticks to the program and you set the tone, I think, for what comes ahead. For the benefit of those who were not exactly here at 8:30, welcome. I won't mention names, but lovely to have several people who walked in at that time. Hi, TT. Just in case you did miss the earlier announcement, should you wish to access the photographs that are being taken for this conference, please scan the code that is here on your tab. I see some of you have already started posting them on social media. I wonder what you do in your offices, but anyway, thank you. And on the hard copy of the program, you will also find a scan code. Please do scan that and you can have a digital copy that will be on your phones. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to welcome all of you, and at this time, I'd like to call upon the President of the Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe, Mr. Tatena Katoma, for his statement. Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you, Mr. Baturina, and definitely yes, the cocktail was quite an activity. Thank you very much, Ms. Joining, for the good welcome with us. The Commission of Insurance and Pensions, Ms. Grace Murazikwa, here represented by Ms. Simone Venezuela, our acclaimed speakers, all IIZ board members here present, insurance industry leaders and practitioners, conference delegates, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished insurance executives, esteemed guests, good morning to you all, and a warm welcome to the IIZ 2024 annual conference. I am honored to stand before you today as the President of the Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe and welcome you to our annual conference. This conference is a testament to our commitment to excellence, learning, and collaboration. Over the next 2 days, we will engage with thought leaders, share best practices, and explore new ideas that will shape the future of our industry. As we gather here today, our industry is at a critical juncture. We face challenges that require innovative solutions, strategic thinking, and collaboration across the industry. This conference serves as a platform for us to come together, exchange ideas, and explore the myriad opportunities that lie ahead. It is a unique opportunity to engage in thought-provoking discussions, gain insights from industry experts, and chart a course towards a future that is bright. Thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your commitment to our industry. Let us make this conference a memorable one and continue to shape the future of the industry together. With great honor and respect, I will introduce our Insurance and Pensions Commissioner, being represented by Mrs. Simone Venezuela, the Director of Insurance and Microinsurance at Insurance and Pensions Commissions. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the Commissioner.
Thank you. Just to kick off my presentation, I'm here on behalf of Dr. Grace Murazikwa, who is not able to join us this morning due to other commitments. I think let's go to the overview. Right, my presentation outline will touch on the overview of the Zimbabwe. Which one? Okay. We'll touch on the overview of the Zimbabwe economy. We'll touch on the challenges. We'll touch on the industry architecture, the regulatory update, data trends, market dynamics, emerging risks, market conduct, regulatory reforms, and how we can use technological adoption to our advantage, as well as strategic issues that we must pay attention to. Right, in terms of the GDP as of Q2 2024, it was at 2%, having been revised from 3.5%. The insurance penetration rate, we are not doing well as a country. It's at 1.6. We actually haven't been doing well at all as from 2020. And the gross premium return, I think we only did well in 2021. And growth has averaged about 3% during the past 3 years. On challenges, we do have global challenges. I will touch also on local challenges, and I will also touch on the employment profile. On global challenges, we're looking at the frequency and severity of natural disasters, resulting in high loss ratios, elevated cyber security risks, technological disruptions, and innovation and competition. And on the local front, we have economic fragility due to hyperinflationary episodes. As we know, we do have low confidence in shrinking life and pensions industry, and low formal employment rate of about 29%, low disposable incomes, and this is shrinking the traditional insurance, and indications of a monocurrence are not impacting us well, as well as infrastructure gaps. And on the employment profile, you will see that the informal employment rate is growing at an alarming rate, and yet the formal employing rate is not growing at all. Industry architecture, we do have a total of 102 entities as of September 2024, having grown from 96 in December 2023. This is mainly due to the microinsurance sector, where we have recorded an increase of entities. New players have come on board. And in addition to that, we also do have about 2,557 agents that we regulate. On regulatory updates, I want to touch on ZICA and governance issues and IFRS 17 reporting. ZICA, we have now developed a risk-based supervision blueprint. This is an internal document that we use to guide us as we regulate the industry. It requires sound risk management practices and internal controls. And on governance, there are quite a number of issues, but I've picked on the key ones. The issue of shareholding. Colleagues, you are aware that our law requires that an insurance company must have a minimum of 3 shareholders, each with a shareholding not exceeding 40%. We also have group structures which have overbearing influence on the entities that we regulate. You'll find that in some instances, the man who is calling the shot is not the principal officer, but somebody who is sitting at a group level. We would like to correct that as we move forward and empower the principal officers to make the day-to-day decisions. We also have improperly constituted boards. They lack skill and balance in terms of independent and non-independent board members. You find, I've seen boards with half the board members, they are accountants. We need diversity at board level. Fit and property for CEOs. This must be conducted for the principal officers, and the commission must approve the appointments. On IFRS 17 reporting, I'm pleased to report that we're one of the early adopters. We're transitioning right now from IFRS 4 to IFRS 17, and it's not easy. We've seen data that is not making sense to us, and in most cases we have to go back. There's so much back and forth in terms of verifying the numbers. But the good thing is that we have started and we're making a headway. We have seen other regulators, we've been approached by other regulators who have not started, and we are wondering how we're making it. And they also want to come and learn from us. So I think let's give ourselves a hand there. We're doing well. Right. I now want to touch on industry financial soundness. we have developed a tool that we use to assess the industry financial soundness. And this one is for short-term insurers. They averaged 49%. It's not a bad score, but it's not the desirable. We would like the industry to reach a score of 80%. You will note that it's mainly driven also by micro-insurers, and when we talk micro-insurers, we're talking about 3 reporting micro-insurers. The rest are not reporting as yet. On the life side, it's also on 67.15%. The items that we read on financial soundness from a life perspective are solvency, liquidity, combined ratio, capital coverage, corporate governance, and return on equity. Again, on this, in the life sector, there's room for improvement. If a company scores below 40%, we begin to worry, and it becomes a target for close monitoring, and that's when you see us coming to carry out inspections or calling for more data. This is talking to the same things. Skip. We also developed a compliance index. It talks to the compliance issues, mainly governance issues, compliance with the prescribed asset requirements, shareholding, some of the issues that we're talking to. And the short-term industry is doing well, almost at 80% there. Keep it up for short-term insurers. And on the life side, it's also not a very bad score. It's at 67.83. We read the minimum capital requirements, asset separation, statutory returns, asset quality, risk and corporate governance. I must say that all these ratings are also available at individual level. We can give a disaggregated data for an entity. And those that are performing below 40%, they usually hear from us. So if you don't hear from us, it means you are safe. Right, on data trends, I want to talk to assets and gross premium written trend. On assets, you can see that the trend is almost the same for the gross premium written and the assets. It's taking a downturn, I think, from 2023 for both items, the assets, and it's not looking good. It's not a good picture, though the short-term industry assets are growing. And this takes us up to what? Up to Q2 2024. Right, on market dynamics and product innovation, this is for short-term insurers. You will note that the short-term industry is mainly writing motor insurance, and with the talk of third-party insurance gaining momentum, of it being taken away, I think it tells a very sad story. Because I think of about that 43%, less than 5% is comprehensive insurance. The rest is third-party. So as insurers, if that motor insurance book is taken away, what are the strategies that we've put in place. I'm challenging the insurers to please strategize about this. I think we've been warned sufficiently. We can wake up one morning and it's gone. And there are also companies that are mostly writing third-party insurance. 89, 90% of their business is motor insurance. So if it is taken, what does it mean for those companies? I think it's food for thought on this one. We have a similar scenario on the life insurance sector, where all the companies are writing mainly funeral business. 71% of the business that is being written by the life industry is the funeral policies. I was just reflecting and thinking, I've seen social media groups coming at play when there's death. They quickly form a group and they quickly raise funds to bury the deceased. And if this trend grows, where does it put the funeral book for the industry? I think as we write the funeral book, let's be aware of the threats that we're having. I think the social media is playing a big role there. We don't want to be like the post office. You remember the post office? We used to write letters and post them. And that was overtaken by the email at a very, very, very short notice. So let's be aware that where we are going, the GoFundMe, the WhatsApp groups can actually take over this big business. I'm challenging the industry to think about this and to strategize about this. Because in the absence of the funeral business, there's very little other business that we're writing as life companies. Right, potential growth, we think from where we're sitting as regulators, there's scope in health insurance, cyber insurance, risk, climate change insurance. We think these are the areas that the industry may want to pay attention to and start growing business in that direction. We've come up with a list of 10 emerging risks, which include cybersecurity. I'm not going to go through all of them. Climate change is one of them. Regulatory risk is real, where you wake up and the laws have changed. Like you are facing it right now. We'll wake up one day and the third-party insurance will be gone. Reputational risk is also real. On market conduct insurance, I think as an industry, we want to avoid opaque marketing practices. These include inducements for insurers. They can only lead to complaints at the end of the day. Delaying payments unreasonably. We've seen some claims, we hear of claims being paid in parts. Come tomorrow, I give you something. It does not reflect well on the industry. And as well as denying a policyholder's claim despite overwhelming evidence to support the claim. And mishandling and sharing of clients' information. These are real problems, colleagues, that we want to pay attention to. Complaints by sector, this data can also be reduced to entity level for short term. For the last quarter, we had 71 complaints that we received from the industry. It's not a good picture. Let's contain complaints. Don't allow complaints to get to the regulator, because when they do, it means something to the regulator. It's a pointer to the regulator that probably things are not well. So if you can resolve these complaints at entity level, I think it makes everyone very happy at the end of the day. The life sector, sorry, this is data for short term. Yeah, the life, it must talk to life. I must have a slide talking to life. Okay, maybe I'll find it. On regulatory reforms, there's been delays in enacting the insurance bill. The 9th Parliament relapsed and it was dissolved. So now we have new members of Parliament and we'll be starting the process all over again. Publication of the bill, the hearings, everything that we went through previously, we'll have to do again. And on microinsurance, we have reissued the microinsurance framework with amendments with the hope that it will facilitate growth of the sector. On no premium, no cover, we thought we were doing well in Q1. You remember we gazetted SI 81 of 2023, and by the first quarter of 2024, debtors were reduced to about 6% of the gross revenue for the short-term industry, but the statistics we are getting is that 45% of insurers recorded premium debtors of about 1.6 billion ZiG. You see, it's an indication that we are backsliding to issuing policies without receiving any premium. This is being analyzed further. We may be getting in touch with those who we think are not complying with the SI. IFRS 17, I think I've spoken to that. Right, on technological adoption, this is just to encourage the insurance industry to use locally developed systems to enhance the security of policyholder information and transparency and convenience of paying probably in ZiG and not in the US dollar. And we're encouraging the insurers to utilize digital platforms for data analytics and risk assessment. Right, on strategic issues in the industry, issues that we think the industry must be paying attention to, product diversification. I've already spoken to this for both life and short term. Innovation and product diversification may help provide a solution for that. And on the third-party motor insurance, again, I've spoken to that. Informalization. Let's promote microinsurance products and relevant products, because the economy is informal. Yet when we are sitting or looking for business in well-structured businesses, we can only get so much. The rest of the people are in the informal sector. Unregistered entities, this is also a pain. There are so many of unregistered entities, maybe more than the registered entities. It's an area where we think we must combine forces to deal with this because it impacts on the business. We've had blitz with the ZRP. We have published the registered entities in the hope that the public will want to deal with the registered entities. This is ongoing work. So in conclusion, the industry's outlook for 2024 is characterized by both challenges and opportunities. I think let's see more of opportunities than challenges. We think the industry has the potential for significant growth, given regulatory support, innovation, technology, and increased financial literacy. And as a regulator, we'll continue working together with the industry to address challenges and promote a vibrant insurance industry contributing to Zimbabwe's economic development.
With due respect, Madam Commissioner, your office churns out, what do they call them? These circulars and what have you. Do we expect that trend to continue into 2025? They do come in the dozens. What I'm getting at, you know, we often talk about stability. Stability and enabling people to plan for quite a while. But when the circulars come left, right, and center, the coming of the circulars in itself is not stability. I'm just adding on to Godwin's contribution.
In our view, we don't think that the circulars should be considered as a hindrance, really, but they are meant to help you consolidate, they are meant to focus the industry, they are meant also to avoid certain pitfalls that the regulator will be foreseeing. And it's meant well. It's unfortunate that the industry think it's some nonsense of some sort. But if you look at it, where we're coming from, I think we used to write a lot of these circulars, memos, frameworks. But I think we've covered a lot of ground, and where we are going, really, we want also to avoid issuing a lot of circulars. So you may find us consolidating many subjects in one circular, just to avoid issuing many circulars. The main issue is that there are issues in the industry. If there were no issues, the regulator would not be issuing any circulars and frameworks and guidelines. So, colleagues, I think the circulars are meant to guide the industry. If we think that they are not important and we meet certain challenges that could have been addressed by those circulars, then let's not point the finger at the regulator. Let's not accuse the regulator of sleeping on duty, because the regulator will have tried to do something. Thank you. I hope I have answered you.
Thank you, Madam Regulator, for the presentation. I do have a request. You highlighted the opportunities that are lying in index insurance, for instance. Is there room for the negotiator to help the industry negotiating premium subsidies for the smallholder farmers? Because where we sit, most of us are private companies. We want to ensure that at the end of the day, you write the business whilst making profit. But at the same time, our target market are people who struggle then to raise the premium. So is there room that we can assist us in negotiating for premium subsidies? That was my first request. And then I also do have a question. I noticed the increase in customer complaints that are going to IPEC. Is it in any way an indication of increasing indiscipline in the insurance industry, or are there any other underlying factors, like as insurers we are failing to honor our obligations? What's the reading from IPEC, seeing the number of claims to the regulator are increasing? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me start with your first question. Our aim really is that we must teach people that insurance is not for free. Because once we get into the space where we say someone else can cover you, when that someone else, on the day that someone else stops paying the premium, they will not pay the premium. So we have taken up an approach which says those who can afford the premium, let them pay the premium. We are aware that there are vulnerable groups within the communities, people who have absolutely nothing and cannot afford to pay premiums. We have motivated a subsidy for such people to the Minister of Finance, and when the discussions were being held, he seemed very amenable to the idea of providing a subsidy for people who cannot afford. But as insurers, let that not be our strategy, that we'll offer index insurance and everybody in that space will be given a subsidy. Otherwise, we'll never grow the index insurance. And then your second question, it was on claims. There are many reasons on complaints. People complain because of many reasons. Sometimes because they don't understand how insurance works. Believe me, we have had cases where we sit down the complainant and say, your rights end here. What you are asking for is not possible. The insurer is right, and they've gone away not happy or happy, but we have also taken that leverage to explain issues from the industry's perspective, from the insurer's perspective. But most complaints are on delays in settlement of claims. And if you talk to the insurer will say they haven't submitted all the requirements. So to me, it boils down to miscommunication. People are not talking. Because why is the person thinking that there's a delay, and yet he has not submitted the required documentation? Yeah. I think those are the major reasons.
All right. No, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a big hand to Madam Suela. I will kindly ask one of our board members, Dorcas Chiwota, to come forward, who would like to present a small token of appreciation to our speakers, and she will set the ball rolling. You will find that the tokens of appreciation are very personalized, and it's a touch that the industry is doing. Members of the paparazzi. Go to the center. There we go. Let's give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting, and thanks very much for coming through with those comments, the contributions. So we're going to move on going to move on with the program. You'll notice that there was a slight change there. Our next speaker is going to deliver the keynote address. You will find that he will be with us again tomorrow, and the title for his discussion tomorrow is actually very, very interesting. However, let's take note that okay, I'm preempting. Zig and what have you, those issues, that's for tomorrow. So please don't ask him questions after his presentation with regards the Zig issues. However, Dr. Persistence Gwanyanya is a new generation entrepreneur who founded Bullion Group International. He's also a member of the RBZ Monetary Policy Committee. That's interesting. Persistence is a respected economist and chartered banker who holds a degree in economics, chartered banker qualification with Scotland, as well as an MBA. Ladies and gentlemen, for the keynote address, let's put our hands together for Dr. Persistence Gwanyanya.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. To the Commissioner of the Insurance and Pensions Commission, Dr. Grace Muradzikwa, who is here represented. To the President of the Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe, Mr. Tatenda Katoma, and the board, the esteemed members of the Institute, and fellow speakers for this annual conference. Let me begin by expressing my deepest gratitude for the privilege of addressing this 2024 annual conference. The theme of the conference, innovation and impetus to insurance growth and sustainability, resonates well with His Excellency, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa's Vision 2030, which seeks to lift the country to an upper middle income class. Now, let me assure you that this task is not an easy one. This task needs to be underwritten, and no one else but by us. Neither is achieving this task a simple thing. It requires every one of us to summon a new spirit of dedication, sacrifice, and work towards, as we work towards one common goal. With the ever-changing world, achieving Vision 2030 aspirations requires innovation and responsive approach to the changing global and domestic dynamics. More than ever, and more so, for the ever-evolving insurance industry. The insurance industry is undergoing rapid transformation, driven by a combination of technological advancement, changing customer expectations, and evolving risk landscapes. But as we navigate the environment and as we seek to sustainably grow the industry, and also as we seek to change the perception, the negative perception about our industry, ostensibly occasioned by the losses suffered by the market on account of hyperinflation. It is hard to ignore innovation as a key driver to value creation. It's only creation of value that can salvage us as an industry. It's only creation of value that can help us change the perception, the generational myth that has condemned us into, or that has associated us with the losses of value in the past. You know, Justice Smith did an inquiry into the losses that were suffered on account of hyperinflation or prior to 2019, and established that the pensioners and policyholders need to be compensated for the worth loss. But it's not only that compensation which is enough, but going forward is the need to ensure that we create value for our stakeholders. So we endear ourselves, we change our perception with the stakeholders. So this makes innovation a key driver to value creation. And we have seen recently the growing reliance, pivoting of the market on innovative solutions. We have seen growth of artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and big data analytics, which the insurance industry should also capitalize on for value creation. All over the world, there is increased reliance on artificial intelligence and machine learning to improve underwriting, claims processing, fraud detection, and customer experience. Similarly, there is increasing reliance on Internet of Things to generate vast amounts of data and assess risks more accurately and develop tailor-made insurance products. Blockchain technology is also increasingly growing in importance as businesses try to streamline their processes and improve transparency and reduce fraud. Importantly, reliance on big data to enable insurers gain invaluable insights from large data sets and leading to better decision-making and risk management is becoming a game changer, all in the name of value creation. So the underlying is the need to create value. But as we try to create value, we are aware of the changing customer expectations the customer expectations are evolving. But as these expectations are evolving, we must also measure up to the requirements, to the new requirements, the emerging requirements of the market. This is why digital transformation and the growth of personalized products, real-time interactions are gaining growing significance in the insurance industry. So we need to develop, to grow with the changes or the changing demands in the marketplace. As customers increasingly expect seamless digital experience, including online purchasing, claims filing, and customer services, digital transformation has grown up to become key. There is urgent need to respond to increasing demand for tailor-made insurance products and meet specific needs and lifestyles of the market that we serve. But more importantly, real-time interactions are expected to deliver quick responses to customer services, and often through digital channels. It is important to underscore the effect of evolving risk landscape. The business is all about risk management, but as risk is evolving, characterized or typified by climate change, growing cybersecurity issues, as has been mentioned by the Commissioner, and emerging risks, there is need for us to urgently respond to these issues. Insurers are called upon today to adopt the increased risk associated with climate change, such as natural disasters and extreme weather conditions. We now know better, having experienced drought recently as a country, but also having experienced increasing natural disasters globally and domestically in Zimbabwe, in COVID-19 and post-COVID-19, that there's need for the industry to change with the changing calamities or growing incidences of calamities in the world. Innovation, such as the insurtechs and partnerships and collaboration, the innovation hubs and accelerators, these are becoming fashionable. But I see we are not occupying the space that others are occupying. There's quite some exciting developments in that space. If you look at some partnerships that are happening with the universities of Zimbabwe and other universities are partnering with other industries. So the insurance industry is called upon to forge ahead such partnerships as they are seen as creating value for our stakeholders. The question of sustainability today is undebatable. We cannot debate about sustainability. And as such, the industry is expected to measure up, to rise to the demands of sustainable value creation. But as we talk about sustainability, issues of environmental, social, and governance factors come to mind. And what this only says is, as insurers and as the industry, we should take cognizance of these factors as they affect our decisions and product offering. There is therefore need to invest in sustainable businesses and projects that deliver value and sustainable future. In the social impact space, insurance industry is called upon to develop products and services that address social issues as poverty and inequality. But also, we are called upon to innovate around how we serve those on the lower end of the economic ladder. I was hearing the commissioner talk about micro insurance. I'm not so sure whether these are the innovations that we're talking about. I heard it mentioned yesterday. But certainly, there is need for the industry to measure up to the requirements of the industry, the structure of the industry, which has become more informalized and where the level of poverty is increased. So we need to save those, including those that are on the lower end of the economic ladder. By embracing innovation and focusing on sustainability, insurance companies can not only thrive in the digital age, but also contribute more to resilience and a resilient and equitable society. Clearly, there is need to invest in research and development so as to stay ahead of the curve. To the Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe, you are called upon to work towards rebuilding Zimbabwe from the depth of despair to the great height of hope. We are called upon to rise up to the demand of the task. There is more work ahead. You and me, we have got the work to transform our country, to transform Zimbabwe to what we want. Iweneni tinebasa. I thank you and wish you fruitful deliberations for the 2024 Annual Insurance Conference. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Doug. I find it interesting he's immediately moved off the stage, but we'll allow you to take your seat over there. I normally would love them at the top there. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The tone has been set in terms of the keynote address. And what I pick up from there is the issue around innovation and being in sync with those modern trends that are being talked about, whether it be micro-insurance or whatever aspect it is. But I think there is that call, there is that repetitive issue around and asking us the question, to what extent are we really innovating and in sync with developments? Any comments in that regard? Is this initiated on a marketing perspective, or it's your product developers who will then take it to the marketing side of the business? Your thoughts? I will to the marketing people and find out their views. Any thoughts, contributions in that space? All right.
Good morning, colleagues, and thank you, Doctor, for the good speech or delivered. You know, talking about innovation as a key driver of value, it's all good. But when you look at the ontological aspects of what is happening, bringing it closer home, you look at the issue of pensions. You know, the industry can only do so much in terms of innovation around that aspect. But there's always the third force that comes in. I know the regulator at some point towards the end of last year directed the insurers to carry out an exercise to determine the value of the lost pensions over the years. But ever since, there's been dead silence from that aspect. And here we are talking of innovation, and still the question that remains is, what is our pensions? Where are we? How can we innovate further? And now there's even talk of monocurrency. You know, from a macro level, things are always changing left, right, and center. How do you innovate? How do you sustain those innovations? Thank you.
Well, you might need to be doing another exercise because pension values have been lost in the last month. Anyway, sorry. Doc, do you want to comment on that? Or anyone else want to comment on that?
Thank you. On the last concern about what seems to be the third force and issues that are happening outside which are external factors, I think the clarion call that we're making is, as an industry, let's do what we are expected to do and leave the rest to the policymakers or others. So if we adopt this spirit, the spirit of doing what you are expected to do best, and everyone of us adopt the same spirit, I think together we can build Zimbabwe we want. I can assure you from where we sit that the policymakers are seized with transforming the economy. And it is not an easy task to do, especially given where we're coming from and given the nature of our challenges that have become structural. So the journey, as I've indicated, is not going to be an easy one. It's going to be a tough one. But the core is, in this tough journey, let's do what is expected of us. Thank you.
All right. You know, sometimes we talk on a theoretical perspective, and Mauritius is in the house. I just want your contribution in terms of this discussion around innovation, and want to understand and get a feel on your end in Mauritius, what is the vibe around that? How do you see it? How do you guys tackle it? What is the approach, as it were, that you're undertaking in Mauritius? I thought you should
pay for winning a bottle of wine last night. Do you guys remember that? All right, over to you, man.
I'll share the one later on. It's okay. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. It's a very interesting question. And definitely the Mauritian market is a small market. It's not that big as Zimbabwe. Nevertheless, the insurance industry is progressing really well. I think even the insurance penetration is quite high compared to some other African countries. And what I could say in terms of innovation, it won't be exactly innovation, but I would like to talk about the line of business which we see in Mauritius, which I haven't really seen in one of the slides there. For example, the financial lines. When we talk about the financial lines, DNOs, professional indemnities, kind of, we are seeing a lot of them, and I won't go so far by, I would say that even our book of business is like 80% dominated by financial lines. So what are we doing like here in terms of the book of business, the portfolio composition? How are we cross-selling? So, for example, we have everything we can make out of it, and what would be our responsibility in fact to seeing there is a need. We are talking a lot about ESG, and but what are we trying to understand from other countries globally about what do they mean? Maybe they are already factoring it in our pricing when we talk about treaties, okay? And somewhere it is priced and taken care of, and we at our end here, we are focusing more on the traditional lines, and maybe not really meeting the needs of the customers by talking a bit more about the existing, other existing products around the world. And so it's high time to talk about the new line of business and have the workforce ready as well to talk about innovation and be close to the client, hear the client, come up with tailor-made products, and really hearing, as I mentioned, if you are close to the client, being transparent, whether it is in terms of wording, because I've heard earlier that there are a lot of complaints, for example, claims not being met. So because there's that lack of understanding on the client side, and us maybe not really explaining the real product that we are selling. So once we have done with it, we can move on to coming up with real products that our customers need. Thank you.
You sure you don't want to be one of our presenters? Or are you? All right, I think excellence. I think she's coming up with the aspect that it's about hearing what the actual client is needing. And hence that then generates the innovation around and coming up with a solution. I'm just jumping. I see we've got South Africa well represented here, and Philip will be presenting later. But I'd also love to hear it in terms innovation when you look at a much, much bigger economy, a much, much bigger industry. Philip, I know I'm just jumping on you. Your thoughts around that.
Thank you. As we speak, implementing our new claims management system. So it's going to be a global process. So South Africa is launching now. So we're integrating that. The training is ongoing. When we get back to South Africa, we're going to be trained on our new claims management system. It operates as, it will contain significant amounts of data, the insurance claims, and manage those claims through a process. And going forward, once you've got your data, from my side on an investigation perspective, I like identifying people that are responsible for crimes. And it's important to have that basis. So if you've got your solid record-keeping structure, electronically and, where necessary, originals, then we're taking a giant leap forward. On top of it, we have integrated electronic records, so our company's office in South Africa is now electronically running. So records are accessible online by registering, and if providing you fulfill the requirements, you'll be able to access those, so you can verify insureds. I noticed earlier that there was an issue mentioned of unregistered companies. That's getting less and less in South Africa because of the registration process and the accessibility. And AI is on its way, make no mistake. It's going to be here in terms of crime and detecting crime. So we're looking forward to introducing additional AI to our systems that we are implementing as we speak.
Awesome. No, thanks very much. And his response is looking at the aspect of technology, AI, and incorporating that in our normal day-to-day systems. So I think the challenge that is there, as was articulated by Dr. Perseverance, is that to what extent can we actually go around and innovate using, as Philip is saying, using the aspect of technology, the aspect of AI, and then coming up with more clear, well-defined systems in terms of how we're operating. Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give ourselves a big hand there. So we are ahead of schedule, but I've got a few surprises for you. May I ask the following delegates to be upstanding? Andre Meyer, please be upstanding. Hendrix Ngena, please be upstanding. Donald Mute, please be upstanding. My Baba Zala. And Philip Thorne, please be upstanding. So they are not in trouble. For starters, let's just give them a big hand. So. Louder, ladies and gentlemen. Louder. So these four, I like how I've got everybody's attention. They heeded to the call of being the early birds. And they are receiving, courtesy of Old Mutual and courtesy of Transaxis, you will be receiving some special gifts to say thank you for respecting time. Once again, let's give them a big hand. You may be seated. Yeah, that's how we roll, you know. So, my beloved friends in the Institute, you've taken note of them. Please make sure that as we go for our tea now, they receive their thank you gifts for respecting the thing called time.